A famous explorer once said.
Graham here from AlphaNerd. I'm joined by Tony.
Hello, hello.
We're starting a new feature. Well, we hope to continue this feature. We're called AlphaNerd Plays.
To make my mark.
First cap off the rank for this series is Tomb Raider. Released about a week or so ago on multiple platforms.
Adventure found.
We're going to play for about 10-15 minutes or so until we get to a reasonable point. See what the game's like. Our thoughts on it. Show a bit of the scenery, all angles of the scenery, and a bit of gameplay stuff, and yeah, go from there. This is the intro movie.
Should mention, Graham, you're playing on,
I'm playing
on
the 360.
360 and capturing this on 360 as well. I'm playing through on PS3. At the moment, at the time that we're recording this, we're both probably around about a third of the way through the game, I would think.
Something that keeps us going.
So the setup of the game is that Lara is on a expedition.
Pushes us.
Heralded by Captain Roth, and they're looking for an island of Yamatai. Not too sure why they want to find this island, but that's the setup. And as you can see by this intro, things have gone a little bit pear-shaped. Roth finds himself in a bit of trouble.
Oh dear. Short game.
Yeah, that's it. Game's over.
Yeah, they're in the, what is it? The Dragon's Triangle.
Dragon's Triangle.
And as you discover as you play the game, there's some rather freakish weather around this area.
Yes.
I think the Bermuda Triangle turned up to 11.
Yes.
Some very strange stuff happening. So
We'll try and spoil as little as we can, but obviously if we're playing the game it's going to be a bit hard not to, but we won't go too far into the game to spoil the main parts of the story. But you can see she's now shipwrecked. She's separated from the rest of her crew.
Out here! No sign of Rotten Lara.
Not that far away. Ow, that's got hurt.
So Tomb Raider, what's your experience with Tomb Raider, Grant?
I didn't have a lot of consoles as I was growing up, so I only played these games on the PC. Enjoyed them for what they were. And yeah, I enjoyed them, but I wasn't a big, massive fan of them.
Yeah.
I enjoyed them for what they were. Didn't get really into them a lot, but I understood why people did it.
Yeah. I remember when the first Tomb Raider was released, and obviously playing it on PC and tweaking it to play, and it was great. It was a great game. I sort of drifted away myself. I played the original Tomb Raider 2 when it was released, but started to drift away. Over the years. I came back. Must have been a year and a half, 2 years back. They released an arcade version through PSN. I'm assuming they would have done the same with 360.
Yep.
I can't think what the title of that game was right now, but it was good. I quite enjoyed that. And
yes, that was the top-down sort of isometric.
Yeah, exactly.
Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light.
Guardian of Light. That was it.
Same people involved in this. So Crystal Dynamics made that game, and they've also made this one.
Same people
with Square Enix involvement as well. The main game mechanic of Tomb Raider is effectively quick time events. At the moment, just using the left stick, it says, to move, swing Lara Croft. The angle right. I should start.
Get down.
Stuff. Just got it. There we go.
I can't die like this.
Yeah.
This is gonna hurt.
Can't do a thing other than swing and. Fair enough.
Oh dear.
And that particular thing of being stabbed by that will become a bit of a theme for them through the game.
Now we've talked about this before, but they put Lara through an
the fucking
absolute ringer, don't they?
just moved a spike from her, but yeah, that's mundane compared to some of the things we've had happen to her.
Some of the death animations, or the fail animations throughout the game are just brutal.
Absolutely brutal.
It's a much darker game than I expected.
Exactly. I mean, most of the, as you would have known, most of the games from the earliest were fairly, light's not the right term to use, but they were fairly casual in some respects. They weren't particularly...
They were sort of Indiana Jones and the
Jones,
Crystal Skull,
yeah,
sort of light adventure with the occasional touch of darkness.
Yeah. The game also does a very good job of sort of letting you know what to do in the environment with a sort of very sort of fairly subtle icons that come on screen to say what to do. Graphically, it's very impressive.
It's a very pretty game, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I think probably will be better on PC, but we never know. We don't have one of those. Then the other mechanic they've introduced with this one is this left bumper in the 360 to get survival instincts up. And what this does is highlight within the environment what you can interact with. In this case, we've got some sheets that can be burnt and a drum, and we've obviously got some oil, a flaming that we can light our torch with. And you can't move with that on. So the minute you start moving, that goes off. Is it long enough?
The particle effects are really well done in this.
They've done really well.
Tight squeeze.
And here's the very first quick time. I'm actually going to fail this one. Because that's what they do when you fail. It is very, very brutal when you fail. Luckily, if you do fail, the loading times between those is really, really quick.
Load time is absolutely minimal throughout the game, isn't
Throughout
it?
the game, yeah, it's very little. It's very, very good in how it does that.
And we were talking earlier before we started recording, Graham, the use of QuickTime events in Tomb Raider is the best execution, personally, I've seen in any game.
Yes, completely. I mean, there's ways of doing QuickTime. The extreme example is probably Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
Those QuickTime events were fairly involved, some of them, with doing swirling sticks around and slowly pushing buttons and all that sort of stuff. Whereas this is very good, very clean, and when you know you've got it wrong, you know why you've got it wrong. I think they've done a very good job with that.
And for the most part, their logical execution of controls on the controller as well. It's they give you information visually in the lead up to something and allow you to go, okay, I know this is coming, I need to do this.
Yeah. And in line with the other games in the series, although it's been several years since the last one, there are puzzle elements. This is probably the first one, not that it's a very tricky puzzle, but is the sort of the first one. So do first. Torch up again.
Torch is your friend.
Yep. Burn this. Let's now burn those. So a bunch of stuff's been collected there.
That's right.
Over this side.
Give that a bit of a shove.
Give that a bit of a shove.
Stronger than she looks.
Stronger than she looks, yeah. Maybe not strong enough. We'll keep tapping, so...
No, I think there's...
Well, obviously not got something right here, we need to do something else.
something else you need to put in there, I think.
Let's jump across here.
Yeah, I think we both. I know I'm a big fan of the Uncharted series.
Yep, likewise.
Love them, and I knew this game was coming, but I wasn't anticipating it anywhere near as much as an Uncharted game. I thought, it's been in development for a while. It's a bit old hat. They'll obviously try and mimic Uncharted in a lot of ways. But I was absolutely blown away. They do everything Uncharted does as well, if not better, and have added so many fresh elements to this sort of genre of game as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm blown away by what they've achieved.
Yeah, they've done a very good job. The story is very good, told very well.
And a very different feeling to Uncharted. We were talking earlier, Uncharted very much feels like, not a buddy movie, but he has a lot of company throughout most of the Uncharted games. Whereas Lara, I mean, you'll see as you play the game, you do encounter other survivors, but for the most part, it's Lara Croft pretty much by herself against the elements, against the enemies. This harsh dragon's triangle, group of islands has gathered. Yes.
There is XP, as you may have just spotted, there's XP as you do certain events and do certain actions. And that enables you to upgrade skill points at a couple of different points of it. Whoops.
One of the many death animations you'll see while playing Tomb Raider. And look, there's another example. The load time is absolutely minimal.
Considering she was stabbed a little while ago, she's done pretty well.
She's doing. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh.
Wow. This is very well to sort of get the claustrophobic feel of some of the caverns very well.
Oh, definitely. It's their use of light as well.
Yeah.
That's probably a good example now. Their use of light and particularly the particle effects.
Yes.
And again, exceptionally well done. I mean, here it feels moist and wet and muddy and slippery.
Yes.
They've achieved so much. Yes.
It also does a very good job of transitioning from your gameplay to your cinematics and back again very well. So in some points you actually don't know whether you're actually playing the game or you're watching cinematic. It does it so well sometimes.
And that's a great thing. We were talking about this earlier. I really admire how well they've achieved that melding of transition of gameplay through to cutscenes, particularly with the QuickTime events.
Yes.
Because if you're not paying attention, you'll soon die in what you think is a cinematic.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
It's just gorgeous. So as you can see, quite a few ships wrecked in this island of Yamatai over the years. And there's a much larger plot that unfolds. There's a lot of collectibles you can find during the game of journals and diaries, and which let you know the backstory of this very mysterious island and some of the very, very strange stuff that's happening and has been happening on it for many years.
The thing that we've noticed so far is we're at about the same point. We've been playing probably 6 to 7 hours or so, give or take.
Yeah.
Okay.
You haven't, other than the sort of Tomb Raider part of the previous game seems to sort of been put to the side to a degree. And they're sort of now sort of optional things you can do to find sort of relics and stuff within tombs.
That's
It's not
right.
sort
Once
of,
you,
it's not sort of the part of the core story, for the want of a better term, of the sort of Tomb Raider part of the previous game.
that's a really good point. Once you discover a tomb,
The main story part that seems to be pretty much absent. The person trying to get out of it.
I can do this. Come on. Come on.
and they really have. Again, we were talking earlier, the voice actor that they have playing Lara is just brilliant. I love her reactions in just you know, the sound of surprise and effort to jump.
To do so.
She's done fantastically well.
The game does also a very good job of introducing you to new game mechanics fairly easily and fairly quickly as well.
Sam! They must have come this way.
One thing we were talking about before we started recording is the nature of how
Sam?
she changes from the beginning of the game to where we are now.
Yeah.
She, in the beginning, she's fairly, as you sort of expect, she's fairly sort of scared, for the want of a term, of where she is and what situation she's been put into. But she does seem to change pretty quickly into a pretty good killer.
Oh, she...
primarily
she
she has to,
adapts
otherwise
in
she's
a-
not going to survive. But, oh dear, just fell off. So I don't know sometimes.
Yeah, again, it's a heightened depiction of these sort of circumstances, but they've grounded it really well. Like, there's your first, and again we were talking about this earlier as well. Your first kill of another human being.
Even another creature, in fact, with that second coming up soon, will actually kill an animal, and her reaction to doing that is
completely believable.
Completely believable. But then when you get further into the game, you have to start killing people. Her reaction having to do that makes sense at the time. Not if you were to compare it to what she's not now, but it makes the progression of a character makes sense.
There's almost a Die Hard sort of feel to it, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit of a...
Please respond.
It's
I'm in a shitty situation, but I've got to deal with it. I've got to survive to do stuff. I've got to kill to get out of it.
Yeah.
And if I need to, I definitely will do that.
Yep.
In sort of scenario-based stuff, the way they've done it is just sort of
and
easily. They could have jumped to a really bad scene, and the first thing you've got to do is kill someone, and that's when they make the character change. Whereas
That's
they've
right.
They've done it very well. They've done it subtly.
That's right.
with-
But they take moments like this
to really humanise her and make her. She is really quite a vulnerable person,
yeah.
especially in these early scenes.
Oh, yeah. So she's in a bit of a tricky spot.
Yeah, she's in a predicament, that's for sure. And they sort of play the character build up for the other characters through this camcorder which she finds in the first sort of crash sort of site. This lets them build up the characters. Obviously, this is now Lara, and the character who's holding the camera is Sam, and she is sort of the main sort of offsider to
mythical Sun Queen and ancestor of yours truly.
Sam, this is serious.
Oh, sweetie, I know. I'm just trying to lighten the mood here. Everyone's so on edge. What are you so worried about?
I'm close to something. I'm sure of it. I just don't know if the others will listen. Or even if they should.
Lara, you know this stuff better than anyone. Seriously. I'm not just saying this to make you feel better.
in a way that makes her want to get out of the predicament even better, because she's now got all these memories that she's replaying herself.
Okay.
So it's a very clever method to doing that.
Thanks.
She's not always this serious, you know?
Come on, tackle it!
And here's the rest of the crew.
And what a motley crew they are.
Great crew they are.
Expedition, Laura, but it's not just Sam's family funding us. I put my savings on the line.
Dr. Whitman,
Yeah, that's
from memory?
the other sort of...
The funding won't last forever, Whitman.
That's precisely why we should push east, not west.
No one believes Yamata is that far east. The books simply don't support it.
Well, whoever wrote those books never found Yamatai.
I've talked to Roth about this. There's no point in following in other people's footsteps, Dr. Whitman.
I refuse to bet my reputation on your hunch. I'm the lead archaeologist here.
And when were you last in the field without a TV crew behind you?
Got 30 years experience, 2 PhDs, 1 in East Asia.
It sounds the sort of setup for the whole expedition was to find this island and to have a documentary crew filming as it went.
Don't need a PhD.
And that's why we sort of got some extra characters in the scenario that probably wouldn't necessarily be there. Primarily the camera crew. And I think Sam, the character holding the camera, is that part of it.
That's it. He's found funding through the documentary, obviously.
Based on some version of the truth. What if Yamatai was somewhere in the triangle itself?
Look, this is the satellite imagery from inside the Dragon's Triangle.
There must be said there are a few stereotypical characters. You've got the
don't tell me you're
disgruntled drunk sea dog, who's that character just off to the right there. You've got the hardened Captain Roth here. You've got the geeky computer person. So there's a few stereotypical characters there.
Yeah, and it's sort of story shorthand as well. It's with what they need to get across.
Yeah,
you know, you can understand why they've done that.
Yeah, and so far we've not had. I think we should have mentioned it before. You don't have much to do with them, other than you meet them occasionally. You have a few cutscenes where that sort of progresses to the next story point. And that's it, they're gone. You never see them again.
Yeah.
You might see them again in a bit later on. The character we've had the most dealing with so far in the gameplay we've had is Roth, who seems to be a bit of a mentoring character to Lara.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Roth is sort of, the adventurous soul. He's world weary. He's seen a lot in his time, but he's a very down to earth, realistic, get the job done man. And I guess her other mentor is the archaeologist.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Wait.
This is the first sort of scene you've realised that something on this island is not quite right.
Not quite right, and I'll tell you what, on that unfortunate chap hanging upside down from the tree is my favourite weapon in the game, and it's the first one you get appropriately.
It is a very good weapon.
Poor soul.
I can do this.
This is an example. This is a cutscene, and now it's turned into a gameplay mode. Okay, but it wouldn't necessarily tell. So that change between them is very good.
Isn't it? The transition is
Transition is so seamless.
Here's the bow. Again, I was discussing with Graham before we started recording this. I love stealth gameplay, and the bow in Tomb Raider is just wonderful. It feels weighty and meaty when you draw the bow back and let loose the arrow. There's a weight and a kinetic force to it.
Yeah.
I love the bow. I feel like I'm cheating if I use the the guns and rifles too much. I try to rely on the bow as my primary. Oh, here we go. I'll be quiet so we don't disturb the deer. Oh.
Thank you. And this highlights what I was referring to earlier with her sort of her vulnerability. She's actually it was really bad that she killed this animal, but she needed to do it to survive.
It's all about survival, and again, the developers again take this moment to portray that.
Yeah.
A lot of other developers wouldn't. They'd just throw you into the deep end. You're a killing machine from the moment you start the game up. But kudos to them. They take the time to show some of the impact of
she's going through to get out of the place.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to really mention this game is the soundtrack score is just
isn't it good?
It is really, really good.
Did you get the collectors? Did
I
you
got
come with
the survival
soundtrack?
edition, I think they called it, and it came with 10 of the tracks off the album.
Nice.
There's another 10 to get.
Up some fancy gadgets where you are. If you can learn to read the land and the stars, you'll always be able to find your way home.
And that's a good point. The audio there, I mean, the sound of the rain softly falling. Yep. Again, now running through the running water. It's the sound mix is again wonderfully done.
And here's the survival instincts off again. It tells me I can pick up that object there, and that little funny compass-looking icon is telling me where I've got to go to get to the. And the campsites, which is what you sort of your save points within the game, are also used as your fast travel points.
Fast travel points, and also the points where you
skill trees, and here we are now. So there's the skills. It's broken into 2 parts to begin with. One is Hunter and Survivor. Later on you get a Brawler one, which I don't know if there's any other. Brawler. And basically you use your skill points into various categories, and you want to master something, you press the A button or whatever button you're using, and you've mastered the skill. So it's nothing more than that, but yeah, and then you can obviously upgrade different parts on. So there's the Hunter upgrades, and as Tony said, you've also got the ability to, and we can't do any weapons upgrade, but there's other. The right hand one you'd upgrade weapons. And I think the middle one's when you get your first fast travel point open. That's when that middle option becomes available to you. You don't get that until.
Which I must admit, I haven't bothered using fast travel.
I think you'd only be using that once you've done most of the story and you wanted to.
That's what I'm thinking. Which again is a really clever idea on their part to keep people coming back to the game, to keep connection to their audience going a bit longer.
Yep. I think we might leave it there. That's a good place to stop.
Yeah.
There you go. That's Tomb Raider. We're really enjoying it. Looks great, plays great, sounds great. All the things you want to have in a game. Enjoy.
Loving it, so pleasantly surprised, and I've just been blown away by this. Big fan of Uncharted. Yep. And I
think I'm enjoying this more than Uncharted.
I
think they're telling different stories. They're doing it slightly similar ways. As in the quick time events and that kind of stuff. I just think this story, so far, this could change, is better than an Uncharted. Yeah. Sort of gut reaction so far.
For me, it's a definite buy it now, don't wait, and I can't wait for the sequel.
Yeah, and definitely there have to be one.
Oh man, I hope so.
All right, thank you, Tony.
All right, thanks, Graham. Have fun. We'll be back soon with another game preview.
Yep, excellent.